Hello, everyone. Today I just wanted to quickly cover some upcoming films I'm excited about. First, let's go over some that I don't have too strong of opinions on. There's the Amazon Prime uh, adaptation of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. I read a couple of those books when I was younger and think that they're very good and could easily become the next Game of Thrones series. I'm actually pretty excited about this one, but I decided to mention it at the top since it's a series, not a movie. Um, I think it could be really good and become the next big thing. My one worry is that Robert Jordan's writing could be tough to adapt. He tends to go into a lot of detail, and that tends to slow down the pacing a lot sometimes. So that could be good for adapting it because they'll know exactly how everything's going to look and how it's meant to feel, the atmosphere of everything. But it could also mean what they think is going to work out for an entire scene might not actually be that long because it was long in the book with all the details. But then when it actually gets to what is going to happen in the scene, might not be uh, as much as they were hoping for. Um, Next, there's the Steven Spielberg remake of West Side Story. I never seen the original, but it won Best Picture, the original one, and this one looks like it's going to be pretty well done. So I'd like to see the original first before this one comes out, but then watch it, and I could see this one being uh, one of the films that does well in the Oscars next year. Um, Next is the new Ghostbusters film, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I've never been the biggest fan of Ghostbusters, but they're fun, so that's something to be excited for. Um, then there's Marvel's Eternals, which I don't really know anything about the Eternals as a comic book series, but it's being directed by Chloe Zhao, who did very well at the Oscars last year, winning Best Picture and Best Director. Um, but this one looks cool. It has a great cast, and uh, I'm excited to learn more about it because I know absolutely nothing about the Eternals. Um, and then there's Venom: Let There Be Carnage. I didn't think the first film was amazing, but it was a lot of fun, and this sequel seems to be really leaning into that, the fun side of it. Uh, Now to go into some that I'm a lot more excited about. Firstly, there's The Beatles Get Back. This is Peter Jackson's documentary film about the Beatles. Uh, Peter Jackson meticulously scoured through hours of Beatles footage to edit together a cohesive film. I've been pretty excited about this ever since last year when he released a teaser for it. Um, he's a great director. Obviously, The Lord of the Rings and King Kong and The Lovely Bones, or was that what it was called? Something like that. Those were all pretty good movies, and of course, The Lord of the Rings was. Um, but so I'm sure he'll do a good job editing this all together. Um, and I love the Beatles, so that'll be fun. That comes out on November 25th. Next, there was just released trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. Um, I liked the first Matrix. The sequels didn't quite live up to it. They were still pretty good, but they didn't quite live up to the first one. Um, I'm a little bit apprehensive about this because the Wachowskis haven't had a great track record since then. They had like V for Vendetta, and then like Speed Racer was kind of a mixed bag. It looked really great, but didn't always hit its mark. But then they also had like Cloud Atlas, which was mediocre at best, and um, Jupiter Ascending, which was a complete mess. Um, so hopefully this is a bounce back. It's only going to be Lana Wachowski working on it. I think Lily Wachowski isn't going to be working on it. Um, so hopefully Lana can handle it on her own. I don't really know. Um, and it looks like Lawrence Fishburne isn't going to be in it. Um, they might just be hiding him and he'll have a secret reveal though in the film. Uh, we'll have to wait and see on December 22nd when that comes to theaters. Next is Spider-Man: No Way Home. Uh, this is the third of the MCU Spider-Man films. Spider-Man is probably my favorite MCU character. Uh, I liked both the first two films in the MCU version of it. Um, and this one looks like it's going to dive into the multiverse and bring in uh, Alfred Molina's Doctor Octopus, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, and Jamie Foxx's Electro. So that's pretty cool, and hopefully that also means that we'll get to see Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker again. Um, that was probably my favorite version of the character. Whatever happens in it, I'm excited, uh, and that comes out on December 17th. Next, we have Last Night in Soho. This is Edgar Wright's next film. I've loved every single one of his films. I've seen all of them. I think he has such a distinct style, um, and it always seems to work really well. His editing's a lot of fun to watch, the way he cuts between scenes, and very quick paced, and he seems to handle action well, and whatever you throw at him, he seems to be able to do pretty well. Um, this one I haven't looked too much into, but it stars Anya Taylor-Joy, and she seems to be in the 60s, from what I can tell. She fit well in the 60s in the Queen's Gambit, so I'm sure she'll do well fitting into the 60s in this film. And I think Edgar Wright's style in the 60s is going to look awesome. I think it'll blend perfectly. And I can't wait to see that on October 29th. Next is The French Dispatch. This is Wes Anderson's next film. He's another director where he doesn't seem to make bad films ever. He has such a distinct style that no matter what he does, as long as he sticks to that style, it should make a good film. Um, this one I haven't seen anything about really, other than I've looked at the cast. I've haven't seen anything about the plot or like story at all. The cast seems like massive, huge ensemble cast. You got a lot of like his regulars who seem to work with him a lot, like Owen Wilson, and Willem Dafoe is in it, and I think Bill Murray's supposed to be in it probably. Um, but it looks like there's some other new faces, like Timothy Chalamet is going to be in it, um, and Léa Seydoux. So like there's a bunch of people cast in this one. It looks like it's going to be massive for the cast, and he seems to handle massive casts pretty well. Um, so I'm not too worried about that. Sometimes you get too many egos in one place, but he seems to be pretty good at managing it. And that film comes out on October 22nd. Also coming out on October 22nd is Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of Dune. This is one of the ones I'm most excited for. It looks awesome. Everything like aesthetically looks amazing. It seems to be paying homage to the original David Lynch version of the film, while also fixing some of the holes and plot points that were missed in that version that got cut down so heavily. From what I can tell, this is going to be made into multiple films, which is probably a better way to go about doing this one instead of um, trying to cram it all into one film. Uh, that's what happened with the original version, was that they made it all one film and it was like 4 hours long, and then the studio wanted them to cut it down to only like 2 hours, and so it ended up losing a lot of what was important to the narrative. So this one, like from all the trailers, it looks amazing. The cast looks awesome, um, and like all like the costume design and set design looks amazing. So we'll just have to wait and see if the narrative works well once it comes out. And then lastly, the film that I'm most excited for is No Time to Die. This is probably the last Daniel Craig James Bond film, and it looks like it's going to be raising the stakes further than anything we've seen before. The villain looks awesome, Rami Malek. I can't wait to see what his uh, scheme is or whatever he's trying to do in the film. And it seems to be bringing back a lot from the past Daniel Craig films, like Christoph Waltz is back again, um, and um, Jeffrey Wright as Felix Leiter is back again, and Léa Seydoux is back as her character again. I don't remember what her name was, but she was Inspector. Um, so I'm excited to see what all is going to happen in this one. I've loved all of the Daniel Craig Bond films so far, um, and I'm sure that'll continue with this one. It was originally supposed to be directed by Danny Boyle, who I thought would be a great fit for a Bond film, but they ended up replacing him with Cary Joji Fukunaga. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Who I think will also be a good fit. He directed the first season of True Detective, and if he can take that atmosphere of True Detective and apply it to a Bond film, I think that could be really cool. Could be like very dark, which is awesome. And that one comes out just on time for my birthday on October 8th, so that'll be something to look forward to for me. Might get to go see it for my birthday. Um, I know there's some other films that I might have missed, or some other series like the new season of Survivor starts next week or the week after that. Um, but that's it for today. Thanks for watching.